Very good afternoon to everybody who's excuse me, who's tuning in to live at the waterhole this morning. My name's Chad Hobson, and I'm going to be your naturalist for the show today. I do hope everybody had a fantastic weekend and got to relax a little bit, and hopefully Monday is off to a great start. Just a reminder to everybody that this is a live and interactive show, so please do send through your questions and comments using the hashtag Wild Earth on X. You can join the conversation on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe on our website, or you can download the Wild Earth app on any of the app stores. So we are starting out at Old Danyu in Kenya. We've got three beautiful big elephant bulls that have come down for their mid-afternoon drink. Harriet Hodgin, you're saying hello, Chad, from a nippy Cape Town today. Hello to you, Harriet. It is also quite nippy in Johannesburg. I mean, the sun is shining, it is a beautiful day, but if you're not sitting outside in the sun, then it's definitely a bit of a chill in the air. Beautiful, nice, beautiful big tusks on this elephant right in front of the camera. Not too sure if he's got a name. Nice to also see that Old Danya has filled up since last week. There's a bit of a shortage of water that one day when we had all the massive herd of zebra, the elephants, the giraffe all around. It's nice to see that it has filled up. The Mike, you're asking, or saying, hello, Chad, how does anthrax get into the water and are some animals affected more than others? I definitely think some animals are more affected by anthrax compared to others. I mean, anthrax is a bacteria, so I mean, I'm sure there's some animals that are way more prone to that bacteria compared to others. And then also, I mean, it is a bacteria, and apparently that bacteria can live in the water for, I mean, I read somewhere that that can live for up to about 10 to 15 years in any water hole. So if you do have that anthrax around, it could be big problems on the reserve. But I mean, it could come from animals washing themselves within the water, animal coming down to drink. Excuse me, that does have anthrax and washes itself. Then that anthrax bacteria is then transferred into the water. Granny Mango, you're asking about animal behavior. And is it your safest bet to read body language or pay attention to vocals? So I would definitely say body language. A lot of the dangerous animals out in the African bush, their body language will often tell you, okay, you need to back off, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. Like, for example, I mean, like a lion, it's going to growl at you, so then you can hear, okay, it's often very mad. But if it doesn't growl, it will often snarl its teeth or flick its tail. And that often can then show that it feels a little bit intimidated or threatened. Um, like an elephant, it will trumpet also, but most of the time it will stand there, like turn a little bit to the side, lift its head up quite high, make itself look a lot bigger than it is to give you a warning. So, I mean, you have to really pay attention to it all because sometimes you might even hear a growl from a lion while walking and you don't know where it is, so then you can't read the body language. So, I think it is a little bit of both that you have to be aware of. Juliet, good morning to you. You're having a mini heat wave in your corner of the UK. So you're sitting inside in the cool, enjoying the illies, and you're hoping for giraffes and warthogs today. Juliet, I'll see what I can do, but there's a very good possibility of giraffe and warthog throughout the show. Maybe warthog um, at Tower Lodge. And giraffes, we often do see giraffes around here at Aldonye, so we'll keep a lookout. These elephants, if you look at them, it almost looks like they're not drinking, they might even be greeting one another. Does look like such a beautiful day out in Old Donny. Sun is shining, animals are out. Oh, and Juliet, look what we have in the background there. We're hoping for some giraffes, and I can see two giraffes in the back there. So we'll just have to be a little bit patient, and hopefully they will come to the water. It's amazing. Often the elephants will, I mean, you think such a big animal, they'll just drink any water, but you often find that the elephants will, if there's a little bit of algae on the top of the water, they actually will use their trunk and sort of um, push the algae to the side and then take the freshest little bit of water. always do feel like I'm in the heart of Africa when I'm here at Aldonyu with just the beautiful landscape and all the animals, the most iconic animals. Abbas, you're asking a very good question about elephants and they do some damage and do they cause habitat loss for some animals? So, I mean, yes and no. The thing is that they will sometimes almost create smaller little micro environments for smaller animals and things like that. So, yes, they do damage, but they also then create smaller micro environments for smaller animals or push over a big tree and allow the smaller animals to then feed on the tops of the trees and get the freshest leaves and things like that. So, I mean, yes, if you do have too many elephants within your reserve, there's then going to be a big problem because of what they do. But if you keep the numbers to a good number or the sustainable number, then they actually do wonders for your reserve. They are a pioneer species, so I mean, you almost do need elephants within an area. Man, that's incredible. Giraffes, zebras, and elephants all drinking at one small little waterhole. Well, zebra got a bit of a fright. I think we're gonna probably spend quite some time here at Old Donya in Kenya. It's because there are lots of animals coming down, and I mean, it is starting to get to one of the hottest parts of the day, which then does bring the animals to the water. Obviously, asking is it possible for elephants to injure other animals in stampedes? Is it something that happens? Not really. I wouldn't say that elephants stampede. But I mean, if an animal does get in an elephant's way that's running away from something, they definitely can injure, do some serious damage to them. And so you're hoping for a few baboons and a warthog. They still might come. We've still got a fair amount of time left in the show. Now it seems like that one elephant's getting a little bit greedy, standing in the water, not allowing the other animals to drink. Always so fascinating to see the giraffes when they do drink. Juliet, you could be 100% correct saying that the giraffes do look um, less nervous. But it also might be because there's quite a lot of animal activity around here, so there's a bigger chance that they get to spot a predator that might be around before it takes one of them, and maybe that's why they are a little bit less nervous. Mercedes Benny is saying Aldania is spectacular, especially when the mountains is visible. It is indeed. It's. I think that's why it is my favorite waterhole out of the lot. It's also one of those that the animals are so close to the camera, and you can get some nice beautiful close-ups of them, and you don't really need to talk too much. Animals do the talking themselves. Crystal, 100%. You do get guests that want to go and sit at a waterhole, and especially the guests that want to go out for the whole day. So, I mean, they'll leave in the early morning just after sunrise. They'll spend time looking for sort of the bigger animals, like the cats and things like that, that are more active during the cooler parts of the day. And then when it does get hotter, you maybe go sit at a waterhole and just sit there and wait and do a little bit of birding. Wait for maybe a herd of elephants to come down or anything to come down to the water. Just like that, the elephants have disappeared and they might now start to feed for the afternoon. They might not even go too far. They might feed in and around this area and then they might come back a little bit later on. I'm not too familiar with this area around Old Donyu, so I'm not sure where the next water source is. It seems like the wind is blowing here at Old Donyu, and sometimes when the wind does pick up, the animals do tend to get a little bit more nervous. Maybe that's why the animals are moving to the thicker area, try and get out of the wind. Catherine, you're asking, do I think calves born in captivity could be integrated into the herd? So, I mean, I'm guessing that you may be talking about giraffes. So, I would say yes, they could be integrated into a herd. Also, just dependent on um, the age of that calf. If it's not suckling, then I'm sure it will be able to. Because also the thing is, giraffes, they aren't territorial. So they don't have territories. So they're not going to really push somebody out that they're not happy with. I mean, the males, they'll definitely fight with one another. Um, but I don't see why not. Why you couldn't integrate a calf into within a herd. That one giraffe's just on the lookout, seeing if there's anything that might be around while the other two are drinking. Granny mango, I wouldn't say it's a. I mean, it does really often look like they are looking out, and they might be, but it's not necessarily every animal has the lookout sort of technique that we're talking, or lookout practice that we're talking about. I mean, you do often find it though that when animals are drinking, that there will always be one looking, and I mean, especially when there's a small number of them at the waterhole, you'll often find that one is looking around. Also, a couple of butterflies that are fluttering around here. Trying to see if I can identify any of them. The one that I thought I did see, it's got the orange tips. Orange banded forest, I think. I just have to. It's very tough to be able to see though. Could also be just the orange tip. So, Sebastian, you're asking, do butterflies use dung for anything? Is that why they flutter around it? So, they do use it for different things. So, they use it for, excuse me, for nutrition, um, for to get the necessary like nutrients out of it. There's lots, as bad as it might sound, but there are a lot of vitamins and minerals and things like that that the butterflies can get from the dung. That's beautiful up close of this giraffe, and you can see also the red-billed oxpeckers hard at work on the giraffe. And look at the number of zebras coming in. How fantastic. Goodness me, quite incredible how many zebras there are. I don't think I've ever seen so many zebras around this small little waterhole. Also, it isn't the greatest technique that they are using because they're disturbing a lot of that water. So there's a lot of mud and dirt that's getting kicked up in the water. So it's not all going to be dirty. Gringos, I mean, sometimes it might look like the zebras move in an ordinary fashion just because they're trying to get to a certain place. So that's why they might just be sort of in a line, all walking. They know where they need to be, and they're all sort of following the front leader. Juliet, indeed, it is going to be very, very murky. And they are done. I think it's already very murky from them. And just like that, so many zebras gone. It was pretty special, though. I mean, yeah, lots and lots and lots of zebras. Now all of a sudden, we're left with only a handful. Seems like that one's quite interested in something off to the left hand side, but I do think it might just be the people talking within that hide. So it does seem like it is a little bit quiet at all the other different locations, but you never know. I mean, this is the African bush, so something can pop up in the next couple of seconds. Yeah, we have spent pretty much the first hour here at Old Donu, but it was pretty special with all the amazing things. So why don't we head over to Tar Lodge and have a scan around, see if we can find anything exciting. Oh, nice big crocodile sunning itself. It's always amazing to see crocodiles on the bank. I mean, as incredible as it is to see them in the water, there's just something about seeing them out of the water on the banks, sunning themselves. Doesn't look like the sun is really shining too much. I think this crocodile is just trying to get every little bit of sun before it then does start to go looking to hunt, move into the water and go look for any fish that might be available to it. And Chelsea asking, how do crocodiles manage to keep their hunting agility when they can go long periods without hunting? So, I mean, the thing is, crocodiles, if a crocodile eats something substantial, say for instance, an impala or an nyala or something like that, then that crocodile is literally just going to bathe on the bank trying to digest that food. I mean, there's um, There's a lot of papers on the crocodiles in East Africa and the Mara River, and they say that they might even just eat once or twice a year. It's because when the migration comes, they'll often take down something like a wildebeest or a zebra, and they'll then feed on that, and it's quite a substantial meal. So all they then need to do is just lie in the sun and digest that food. Also, always quite a lot of birds that we get here around Tower Lodge, which is always nice to see. It's not always about the big and hairy scaries, Archer. Nice to spend a little bit of time looking at some red-knobbed coots, some Egyptian geese, spurwing geese. I'm also hoping for a warthog that pops its head up somewhere here around Tower Lodge. It's probably where we might have the most luck seeing a warthog. Let's head over to Rosie's pan and see what there is. Could go a bird calling off there in the distance? Almost that little cry. I'd really love it if I think it was Liam, this waterhole, whenever we cross here, Liam saw a pack of wild dogs taking down an impala in this waterhole. I actually also saw my one and only leopard right here at Rosie's Pan in the Olifants Game Reserve. So it is quite a special waterhole to me. Do really love the low fault during the winter times when you can see how incredibly dry it is. The game viewing is very, very good um, in the low faults during the winter time, just because you're able to see quite some distance. You're able to spot animals from a distance away. Also, the animals are a lot more active during the winter time because it is a lot cooler. So if you are planning on coming on a safari, this is a great time of year. It is a little bit chilly during the mornings and the evenings, but during the daytime it's still 25, 26 degrees Celsius, which is pretty fantastic. Just a reminder to everybody that this is a live and interactive show, so please do send through your questions and comments using the hashtag WildEarth on X. You can send through. You can join the conversation on our YouTube channel. If you would like to subscribe, you can do so on our website, or you can even download the Wild Earth app. Sammy, you're 11. You're asking all the questions about elephants. So you're asking what time of year do elephants have their babies? So elephants don't have a breeding season. So they're not like impalas, where impalas will give birth once a year around late November, early December, where they'll give birth throughout the year. So different elephants will give birth at different times. And then they can only have one baby at a time. And I would say an elephant cow can probably have, give or take, 10 calves in her life. Also, really do just enjoy listening to the elephants around the water. Something so nice and peaceful about the water trickling off their trunk. We're gonna stick with the gentle giants, but we're gonna change up the location and go see some different elephants. We are back at Tower Lodge now in Madikwe. There's a beautiful big herd of elephants that's come down. Just like that, they disappear as quickly as they do come in. Been a nice, quiet and peaceful Monday afternoon live at the waterhole. Lots and lots of elephants coming down to join us. Also pretty special with all those zebras at Old Donyu. Seems like Old Donyu is the hotspot these days. So this elephant bull that we got here might be part of the herd that just left, because often younger elephant bulls will spend their last few years with the herd, sort of just outside of the herd. I mean, they're not really ready to leave just yet. It's also extremely dry here at Madikwe. Just looking at the trees in the background, they all turn in that yellowy brown color as we've passed the middle of winter. So we are now going into autumn in just a little bit. Also got a couple of birds, and the ones on the left of the pied avocet. One that's got its bill that turns up. Very strange looking little bird. Yellow duck, that is a good question. I've wondered it to myself before. Like, do the animals look at us like we look at them? And to be honest with you, I couldn't 100% answer that question, but I think so. I mean, there are some times where the animals, I mean, they're so used to the vehicle that they just see you and they look up and then they look back down and continue what they're doing. But other times they do tend to look at you for a little bit longer and they might be wondering, what on earth are these people doing? But luckily for the show, they don't know that we're actually watching them, which is pretty fantastic because, I mean, we don't disturb them at all. They don't know that we're there. We're able to get some nice, beautiful close ups of them. Brilliant. How amazing. Quick view. Come back, leopard. Oh, listen to the impala's alarm calling. How amazing. That is just so, so special. And we were talking about the first leopard that I saw at Rosie's Pan earlier. It's a sign. I'm not 100% sure which leopard this might be. If there's any other viewers that's familiar with these leopards around Juma, please do send through your comments as to which it might be. So those impalas, they're now warning all the other animals in this area that there is a threat and that they must all be careful. Now all the animals within this vicinity are going to know. So often what happens once the leopard does get spotted, I mean, it will probably have a drink and now move off quite quickly to get away from these impalas because now everybody knows that there's a predator around. And so there's not going to be really good hunting opportunities or anything like that. Yeah, even a squirrel alarm calling. What a beautiful animal. You hear that? Choo, 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 choo. That's the squirrel that's making a noise alarm calling at this leopard. Man, that was fantastic. And just like that, disappeared. Miss M, you're saying that the way the cat keeps its tail curled is so interesting. It is indeed, and I mean, you saw it kept its tail curled and kept it down. That's to really not to try and attract too much attention to it. Because if you did see it, oh, there she is. It's got that white tip to the tail. So, I mean, if that white tail tip is up. You can imagine how easily it can be seen. That's why they keep that tail down. So I think that leopard is probably still just going to move away from this area. Maybe a little bit later on in the live safaris. Oh, there she is. Steve or Cedric. We'll see if he can maybe find this leopard. Yeah, those impalas are still alarm calling. They might carry on for a little bit. Once they know that leopard is gone, then they might stop. That was just amazing. Glad we got to see them. Now she's scent marking. So leopards, both the males and the females are territorial. So you'll find that they both will scent mark. Often male has a much bigger territory compared to a female. So that male might have 3 or 4 different female leopards within his territory that he'll sort of look to mate with. Whereas the female, I mean, she's got a lot smaller territory. We're just having a bit of a debate with FC at the moment to see which leopard this was. We'll hopefully be able to get you a solid answer. Okay, well, it does seem like it was Leluca. This is a young female leopard, around 3 years old, and she's been hanging around apparently this area for a little while, and did have a run-in with Tlalamba. But maybe because Tlalamba does have cubs at the moment, and she's not really around too much to scent mark. Maybe she's trying to take advantage of this time and potentially push Tlalamba a little bit further out of her territory. But I don't think Tlalamba will have any of it, to be dead honest. Once Tlalamba does start leaving that den side a lot more, she'll then be able to push Leluca back, maybe towards the west. But interesting times ahead on Juma with all the different leopards. Well, that was very, very special. Definitely got me very excited, and I wish I was back on Juma. Hopefully soon. We'll just have a look around the waterhole and see if there is anything else that tickles our fancy. It's an Egyptian goose and a blacksmith lapwing there. And pied wagtail. Thought that was a monitor lizard, but it is just a dead branch on the ground. And this damn cam always brings back the memory of that sighting that I had with Panda when I was at Juma, of those three lions. See, and that's the way the bush goes. I mean, we said that it was a little bit quiet at different locations, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And all of a sudden, boom, Female leopard at Juma. Oh, fantastic. Couldn't really have asked to start your Monday much better. Oh, so, well, these are probably those impalas that were alarm calling at that female leopard. We'll keep an eye on this feed, see maybe if that female leopard does return. But for now, let's head over to Founder's Lodge and see what's happening. Oh, there we go. Juliet, I do hope you are still watching. You did want to see giraffe and baboons, and well, we've got some baboons. We did see some giraffes a little bit earlier on, so your wish came true. Almost looks like that this baboon's just sunning himself. Maybe it is quite cold in the Eastern Cape. It'll be quite nice to just warm up a little bit. Also got a nice height advantage that he's able to scan over the area where he is to look out for any potential threats that might be coming. Something like maybe that leopard. So, Gavin, it's a very good question. So, you're asking about the leopards in Juma and how bad can a territorial fight get, like especially between females? Because you assume Tlalamba would like to keep her territory to maybe share with her cubs. So, Gavin, that is a very good question. So, often, I mean, the territorial fights between males as well as females, they can get pretty bad. I mean, sometimes leopards can kill one another for territories, for sure. Um, But yeah, so Tlamba, she'll try and keep her territory, most of her territory, and what she'll do is she'll then, because she's a dominant female leopard, a little bit older, she'll keep most of her territory, but give some of her territory to her cubs, whether they if they're females. If they are males, then the males are gonna get kicked out by the dominant male in that area and have to go find their own territory somewhere, probably very far away. Um, but Tlalamba then will sort of expand and push her territory into another direction. I mean, trying to push away another female so that she can sort of gain back a section of her territory that she's now given to her cubs from another leopard, if that makes sense. But I mean, leopards can definitely kill one another in territorial fights. They are very harsh animals, and if you ever do get lucky enough to witness a leopard fight, the audio that you hear is something pretty intense. And the growling and the snarling and the fighting is a lot of noise that comes from it. So I wonder, it is a little bit strange to just see one baboon by itself. I mean, it might be just a younger male. That's maybe the rest of the troop are feeding on the ground somewhere around here, and he's almost just the scout, keeping a lookout, seeing if there's any danger incoming. Baboons have a incredible bark. That baboon got such a fright when the when the hardy dot took off. Oh, that's very loud in my ear, hardy dots. Oh, they've all landed in the tree with the baboon in it. Proudly say we saw baboons at Amakala for the first time a few days ago, and Eric said the baboons there are a bit skittish. Why would baboons there be skittish, but in places like Durban they'd be fearless? So the thing is, in a place like Amakala, I mean, I've never been there personally, but just from looking, watching Wild Earth, there's a lot of mountains and areas like that where the baboons might spend most of their time. Whereas in Durban, I mean, yes, there are lots of hillsides and forests and things like that, but the baboons have sort of learned that there's food available around the humans. And so that's why they come down to the areas that humans populate, and they're able to then break into houses and steal food. It's a lot easier than going to forage for food. Whereas in Amakala, they might not have learned that there's a whole nice big lodge or lodges around that area that they can go and get their food from. So that's why they probably stay far away from people. They're just not very used to them. Whereas now in Durban or in Cape Town, for example, they are very used to being around humans. So I hope, proudly say that does answer your question for you. So we are coming up to the last 5 minutes of the show. So please do send through your last few questions and comments. Apologies for that. Please do send through your last few questions and comments. It has been a rather exciting show. I look forward to spending Tuesday and Wednesday with all of you. And I'll be gone for just a little bit. And then hopefully be back. We're gonna change it up for the last few minutes of the show. We're gonna head over to Victoria Falls. Egrets doing some fishing. There's crocodile also just sunbathing. Maybe we'll be able to witness a kill in the last couple of minutes of the show. was a little while ago, but I do remember seeing a crocodile. It was either eating Willie next Stork or one of the vultures here, right at this waterhole. It was something pretty special to see. Joanne Miller, it's only our pleasure. Joanne saying thank you, Wild Earth and Chad, for a good Monday. It's a lovely way to start the week. It's going to be a fantastic week from here on. Still waiting for this egret to catch a little fish. What a spectacular way that would be to end the show. Grey heron in the background might have just got. Oh no, thought it might have got something, but might have just picked up a reed or something like that. Just shook it and threw it back in the water. But we are coming up now to the end. Please do stay tuned for On Safari, and then followed by the live safaris with Cedric and Steve. And I think it'll be quite exciting to see if they are able to re-find Leluka that we did just see at Juma. I think I also might just switch on the live safaris a little bit later on, hopefully see her once again. But thanks everybody, I hope you have a lovely Monday further, and I will see you same time, same place tomorrow.